Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Paul, and I am a nerd, and you are lucky enough to be here for the March 2019 Worldox Virtual User Group meeting from Attorney Computer Systems, where today we are going to be talking about task. Mary Jo is going to take that one, and notify. I'm going to take that one. Well, what are those, you say? Those are just words. What are those? Well, those are two features of WDU14, which has just been released. And so we're going to pick them apart and show you what they do. And so now, without any further ado, I'm going to press all the magic buttons, not just one of them, not just two of them, but all of them, to get me to a point where I can be in Worldox. And you know what, Mary Jo, I forgot to load it up. So we're going to go here. We're going to get into our demo copy of Worldox. And we're going to go in as WDoxT, the Worldox test user. And Mary Jo will then be able to tell us all about task. I said that really slow.
You did that. You're much nicer now. I'm afraid to raise my hand now. Goodness sakes. All right. So I think it's loading up here, Paul.
Yep, it's right down here.
Go ahead.
There you go.
Thank you. All right. So we are back up here. And I've got to get to the top of my screen so I can select documents, and I can't see what I need. Oh. 1 second, my screen size is just a little
I'm being a little too forceful, and Mary Jo's just whining over there.
Yes, all right. So if we want to start a task, so why would we do a task, okay, on a document? What kind of a task would we do? Maybe there are certain documents that we need to review by a certain date, and we want to just mark this document to give us a task to review it at a certain time, certain date, before it's needed to be finalized, whatever that case may be. So that'd be a good reason to have a task on a document. I have to review it by X date so that I can have it ready on this date. So I'm going to just pick them. You can pick multiples if you want. You don't have to just say one or one document at a time. I could pick 3 documents that maybe I want to have reviewed at a certain time. And I'm just giving one example of a review. You might have another task you want to do for a document. Maybe there's something you have to request or something else that's related to this document. I don't know. But you can use tasks to do that. So I'm going to select these 3 documents. Maybe these 3 documents are all together and I need to review them before a certain meeting. So I'm going to go up to my task option up here on my toolbar. I'm going to create a task. And when I do that, it's asked me, since I selected 3 documents, it wants to know if I want all 3 of those documents or just the highlighted document. This is like other screens that we have when we select documents. I do want all 3, so I'm going to say continue. At that point, it gives me, here's the 3 files that I had. I have those set there. And then I can give it a subject. So what do I want this task to be? Well, I want it to be review before final meeting. And that's what I'm going to put on there. And I can give it a due date. So I want to say it is due. I can click to select a due date. And this gives me that nice little drop down where I can go back and say, well, I need it in so many days, months, this week, whatever. I'm going to say I need it this Thursday. And it's going to put the date in there for me. Or I can go ahead and just put the date in there if I want. And I can even tell it to remind me before this date. So I want it to remind me to do this before Thursday. So maybe I want it to remind me on tomorrow to review it. And I can even give that a time as to when I want it to remind me to do it. So I'm going to just say remind me at noon that I have to review this document on Thursday. And I'm going to go, or these 3 documents, I should say. And let's say, okay. So now it's went ahead and it's done that. And look what it just did. Did you see that in the background? It went and it created a task in Outlook for me that has that time that I want it to review. So here's that start date is Monday. My redue date is on Thursday, and my reminder is on Tuesday. And there's my documents attached to my task. So it went and it created the task for me with the reminder, and it put it on my Outlook calendar for me. So now I've got a task ready to go and waiting for me to review those 3 documents. Pretty cool and pretty slick. So you can do that for any reason that you would want to have a task for a document, and any reminder or anything like that you can build right into that task list.
Awesome. Very good. Awesome. And you got the short one this time. I always get the short one. I wonder why. I am going to talk about notify. Now, for those of you that are familiar with the audit log, we have had forever the ability to audit a specific file or search the audit log. Now, what is the audit log? Every time you do something in Worldox, if you look at a document, if you delete a document, if you open it, if you close it, if you save it, if you save as, if you copy, if you move, any of those things, and a lot more, I mean, like dozens, if not 100 more auditable events are things that Worldox is keeping track of. And it keeps track of these things in a separate file called the audit log. And so you can search the audit log and say, okay, what documents has this person deleted over this time range? Or what happened to this one document? What has Joanne done to any documents for this client or this matter? The sky's the limit virtually as far as what criteria you can select, and of course the auditable events are the limit because those are the things that are being recorded. You can also audit a file. You can say, what has happened to this file, this Word document? I want to see its complete history from the time it was created to now, and who's done what to it, who's looked at it, who's opened it, who's closed it, who's saved it, who's whatever, okay? That's great, but those are auditing things that happened in the past. Notify takes that same concept and lets you set up notifications for auditable events that may happen in the future. So let's go there. Let's go to Notify. Now I've got 3 of them in here. I've got one that tells me when Brad deletes a document from Mesa, which is a specific client. Don't care which matter, just any of Mesa's matters. I have another one that tells me when Brad deletes any documents from any of the 6 cabinets, and I have one that tells me when anyone saves a document, either as saves as or just saves a document into a Mesa matter. Doesn't matter which matter. So when you come in to notify, you are going to see your currently active notification items. And so these 3 things are currently active. And if any of these 3 auditable events occur, I will get an email immediately, okay? Now, to illustrate how this works, I'm going to create or recreate the one that tells me anytime Brad deletes a document. I've had a little trouble with Brad. He's deleting things when he shouldn't be, and so we're going to track that. So I'm going to click Add, and I'm going to give it a name, Brad deletes document. And we already have one, so I'm going to make a note that says take number 2. And what cabinet am I going to look at? Well, I can look at all of them, okay? And if I click on profile fields, since I'm looking at all of them, it will only show me the profile fields that are shared among all the documents, which is essentially none. So just for a second, I'm going to switch this instead of to being all of them. Well, I'm going here. I'm going to turn off everything except for client files, just so that you can see, no. Just so that you can see that once I do that, now the profile fields are all the profile fields that are in the client files. Author, typist, client, matter, and doc type. So I could conceivably say, well, I want to know every time Brad deletes a document for the city of Mesa. Doesn't matter which matter, doesn't matter what doc type. And I have now said cabinet is client files, and these profile fields must have these values. I'm going to go back to my original example. I'm going to take this out of here. Just going to delete it, get it out here. Gotcha. I could have hit the red X on the right. Mary Jo's whispering to me, but I wanted to do it the hard way because that's my way of doing things. I'm going to go back and select all cabinets now that we're done looking at profile fields. Because remember, we want to know when Brad deletes a document no matter where, the confidential cabinet, the firm information cabinet, the client files cabinet, whatever, okay? I'm not going to specify a certain document ID, but I could say, I want to know when Brad does anything to this document, because he's not supposed to be looking at it, and I need to monitor that. Or I could say, I want to know anytime Brad does something to a document that has a certain description or a certain word in the description. And then down here, here's where my real power lies. What am I doing? Well, or what user am I looking at? Well, first off, I'm looking at Brad, and he is, there we go, thank you. And I am looking for him to be deleting a document, okay? These are all my auditable events. So as you can see, there's, I'm gonna say roughly 50. I'm not gonna count them all, but there's roughly 50 auditable events that you can be tracking using either the audit logs to look at past events or using this new notify feature to look at possible future events. And then who's going to be notified? We have people working on trying to make this a longer email address, but for now, that's all we have. So paul.purdue@attorneycomputersystems.com will get an email when Brad deletes a document from any of the cabinets once I click OK. That's how that works. Same events that you're used to seeing in the audit log, if you've ever looked there. The same ability to select users that you have in the audit log, because that's usually what you're looking at. What did Bob do? What did Sally do on this date? We want to find out how she managed to delete that document or how she managed to lose that document. Where did it go? Another thing to know is that I could have said all users except Brad. In other words, changing the plus to a minus means, okay, I want everybody but Brad. Or changing it here means I want to know everything that everybody but Brad does except for deleting, okay? Not very often that we use that. Usually we're looking for a specific person in a specific event. And that's it. That's all there is to it. Once you've set this up, you should start receiving those notifications. Now, this relies on two things. It relies on the indexer running, because the indexer is what records these auditable events, and then as it's recording these auditable events, it checks to make sure that the event that it has just recorded does not fit into one of the categories or one of the criteria that we are currently have notifies built for. So when the indexer sees that Brad deleted a document, it creates an audit log of that, and then it looks and says, oh, I'm supposed to tell Paul every time Brad deletes a document, and so then it goes out and sends that. The other thing is that you need to have your email properties set up within WD-admin. They're the same properties that you may be using to have your administrators notified that the indexer is running or isn't running. So that may already be done, but this does rely on the email properties being set up so that Worldox can send those emails, and it relies on the indexer being running. Other than that, all you need to do is add some rules and you're ready to go. Next month, we're going to talk about versions, but not versions of documents, versions of Worldox. Mary Jo is going to talk about how to check what version you currently have, not just whether it's GX3 or GX4, but what the code release date is and what the dot release number is, and which is more finite, more minute, zeroing in on exactly which version you have, and then how to plan for an update, because it's not the easiest thing in the world to update Worldox, and you really have to put some forethought into it to make sure you have all the right conditions and all the right people out of the software so that you can perform your update. And I'm going to talk about legal holds, which has been in the software for a while, but I don't think we've ever talked about it. It's just a way to take something that the other side has asked that you put a legal hold on, meaning certain documents that can no longer be edited because they've kind of been frozen by the court. We're gonna take that topic. Of course, it wouldn't be a live event if I didn't take you first, or should I say at the end, to attorneycomputersystems.com. Notice my emphasis on the last S in the word systems, because without it, you don't get to the right place. If you hover over the word videos, you'll get a small list that pops up. But if you click on the word videos, which I just did, you will get taken to a bigger list. Did I really click on it? Let's do it again. You'll be taken to a bigger list that shows you all 6 of our video titles. We have 4 live events. 3 of them are virtual user group meetings. You are currently in the Worldox virtual user group meeting, and we also have them for Tabs and Practice Master. We also have my Coffee Pot webinar series. I give one of these every month. We invite somebody in from a company that has a product that enhances or adds value to one of our 3 core products, which are, of course, Tabs, PracticeMaster, and Worldox. And we have them explain their product, demonstrate it, talk about its pricing, talk about how it integrates, and we get to ask them questions. So those are our 4 live events. We also have 2 pre-recorded, if you will, events that aren't live events. Mary Jo records 3 e-bites every month, one on Tabs, one on PracticeMaster, one on Worldox. These are short 2, 3, sometimes 4-minute videos where we take a topic that we know we can explain very quickly, something cool, some feature, something people don't generally know, that we can explain very quickly and very concisely in that shorter time period, and we record a video about it. For those things that take a little longer to explain, we have the Paul and Mary Jo show. So a topic that is broader or has a lot more depth to it, we might take 10, 15, 20 minutes and really get to the bottom of whatever that particular topic is about and try and cover all the bases. We record 1 of those each month. Bottom line, we have a lot of videos, and they're all about Tabs or PracticeMaster or Worldox. And we've been doing this for about 10 years, and we do currently about 9 of them a month. So it's kind of like the Tootsie Pop ad where you could never determine how many licks it takes to get to the bottom of the Tootsie Roll Pop. We have never counted all the videos, but we believe there are somewhere between 800 and 900 videos on our website. So please take advantage of them. They're absolutely free of charge. There's no cost to look at them, and they are there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and 365 days a year. That's it for today. Everybody have a good rest of the day and a good rest of the month, and we will see you in April when it's a little bit warmer. Bye-bye.